I will narrate what's going on.
What are these, dude? What are these?
Alright, as you check it out there, you're looking at a male roan antelope trying to shoo away that slightly smaller blesbok. Don't let his size fool you though. They are very, very tenacious animals. Been known to jump over roan antelopes trying to get to the feeding trough. A roan antelope male, if you look underneath the belly area, that's really the only indicator that it is a male. Other than that, he looks identical to the females. They both have those elaborate facial markings.
Look at that, dude.
Threat mask.
Wow.
You also notice the nice little mohawk hairstyle on top of the neck.
You like it or
helps
no?
make the animal look a little bit bigger than what they really are. And this dominant male is up here at the very top of the hillside because that is the prime real estate. He's close to the watering hole. Gives him a really great view of where the predators might be coming from. Most animals have those nice little elaborate facial markings, just like the roan antelope, that blesbok had that white blaze running down the middle of the face. And that really helps to exaggerate the head postures and movements, which is a form of dominance, and also their #1 source of communication. You can see that blesbok still approaching the feeding trough.
Look, we're going on the bridge. Water.
Shaking his head, lowering it just a bit. Showing that he is submissive. He knows that he's smaller than the roan antelope. As we move past him, you can take a look out to your right. See a few more birds, animals.
Pelicans.
In the middle of that island, there's 2 small cranes, the demoiselle cranes.
To the birds?
Towards the back, there's a few of our pink-backed pelicans. See quite a few of them roosting on that little nest. Still looking out there to your right, up there towards the front, Zambezi lechways. Small, orangish looking antelope. Come from the lush forests of Africa. And coat colors are really good to determine where animals come from, because most animals that live out there on the dry plains of Africa sport those gray and beige coats, help them camouflage. Whereas the animals that live in the lush greener areas, like the Uganda cob out here to our left, come from a very lush green habitat. How that works is most predators that hunt these animals lack color vision, so green and orange ends up looking very similar, like one shade of gray. If you want to get a really good idea of what I'm talking about, take a picture of these guys, go home and develop it. It's a black and white, and you'll only see the outline of them. And that's pretty much what the predators see. One other thing that you might have noticed, only one of those Uganda cod is sporting the horns. That's going to be our male. A great example of sexual dimorphism. Because they live out there in the green forest of Africa where resources are plentiful all year long. Well, the females don't need to fight for food or water.
Is that cool? Is that cool?
Yeah. How fast did she go? 70 miles per hour.
Tallest point of our tour. So this gives you a nice overview of some of the surrounding valleys in San Francisco Valley. And the wonderful thing about the Wild Animal Park, these exhibits are built for the animals to stay out there 365 days a year.
Zebras, buddy.
24/7.
You see them?
And that's really different from a traditional zoo or park. And that's had a lot to do with our success with breeding. We are a breeding facility. We're trying to breed as many of these animals here in captivity so that we don't have to take them out of their wild habitat. And also so that we can hopefully reintroduce them back out there into the wild. And we study the animals' behaviors to determine what would really make them happy and how we can get them to breed.
Okay.
We've had to do something a little different with our
Wanna
zebras.
what?
If you look out there to your left,
Ajá.
you'll see those black and white stripes. They're
Want me to
not,
scoot
they're
over?
not out there with everybody else because zebras tend to be a little bit more temperamental, kind of like the black rhino. And if you look
See
around
the
that
zebras?
exhibit, that tells you a lot about that animal.
Over there.
No grass inside the exhibit whatsoever, just covered with sand and dust. Out there in the wild, Grevy zebras are found on the outskirts of deserts. Living out there with limited resources all year long. They're just not very nice. They don't play well with others. We studied them for quite a while and we decided to put them in their own exhibit, and they've done quite well. If you look up above that cylinder hut, there's a zebra standing by herself, and a little bit below her is a young foal. Foal sitting down. So by studying those animals and kind of seeing what makes them tick, you've been able to breed them quite successfully here in our park. The Grevy zebra is a major project for us right now. Out there in the wild, they're no longer found. They're only found on conservational parks throughout northern Kenya. It has a lot to do with loss of habitat.
It keeps the camera from falling into our purse. Plus, that'll break it. That way, when we want to snap a picture, it'll be easier to find the camera. And if you see something you want a picture of to show Dad, just tell me. That's a pretty one. What are we going to see next?
Moving up ahead to our left, you'll get another view of some of those springbok gazelles. You'll also get a chance to check out some reticulated giraffes. They'll be coming up.
Good. Watch, Jay, watch.
No trip to Africa would be complete without checking out the wildebeest. We have a slightly smaller herd here. We only have about 5 wildebeest, whereas out there in Africa, herds usually have 2 million or so members. We only have females because we don't want
Look over here, Dave.
wildebeest.
Wildebeest.
Oh, and out here to our right. If you look out there, you'll see what looks like deer, and those are deer. Barbary red deer, the only deer species in Africa. Behind them, you'll notice, looks like a domesticated cow walking around in there. It is a domesticated cow. It's an Ankole cattle. This species has been bred for the length of their horns, and they are highly prized by the Ankole people out there in Africa as a status symbol. We have a bull in our exhibit who has horns from tip to tip that are about 6 feet long. That's longer than the seat that you're sitting in right now.
Look, Dave, giraffe.
Check those guys out. I'll move up here slowly, and there's a view of the reticulated giraffe that we have out here to our left. Reticulated is Swahili, meaning net-like. Refers to that white pattern. It kind of looks like a white net thrown over the brown part of the giraffe. Now, believe it or not, but these giraffes are pretty vulnerable still. When they're first born, they're about 6 feet tall or so, about the size of a tall human. But even at 6 feet tall, they're still pretty vulnerable. Predators like leopards and lions will try to take them down, so they do quite a bit of growing. It takes about 4 years for them to reach that full maturity height. The male is about 18 feet, female 16, as I said earlier. The females that we had in this exhibit are slightly taller than the younger male. I believe that's our female Puani that's standing closest to the fence. She's kind of nibbling at something down below. And the female that's checking out that tree right now is Willow. And look for that black tongue. The rule of thumb is for every foot of giraffe, there's about an inch of tongue. Inside of 13-foot willows, there's a 13-inch long tongue.
Let her sit. She really wanted to check it.
Go ahead and move past the reticulated giraffe.